Hi, my name is Guillermo Salazar, and I'm very glad to be invited again by the Institute of Family Business Poland. And in this special edition of this Congress, I would like to share with you some of my thoughts related with the wealth. And when we talk about wealth, we are talking about a way to understand that we have two kinds of assets, basically. The asset that we can call the tangible and the intangible, things that you can touch and things that you cannot. So on thinking of wealth that way, we need to understand that we must focus on the meaning of this wealth. And that brings us to another concept, which is really important. Wealth means legacy when we are talking about family businesses. When we are talking about the patrimony that we want to share with the next generation, we must think on what is the purpose of this wealth. That's the way that we understand that. What do you need to know to be transcendent, to have a belongingness, have a purpose and a history related with that wealth? That's the real meaning of the legacy that we are talking about. So thinking on these terms of wealth and legacy, we are going to start to see our financial assets in another way. We have to understand that this is always related with the passion that we put on creating wealth and how do we transmit this to the next generation. There are some studies related with this philosophy of understanding the wealth, and most of them can demonstrate that the real meaning of this wealth always connect with the way that the family communicates this purpose. For example, one of the studies that were made about 10 years ago here in the United States reflected that most of the concerns of the owners of some important amount of money and on what is going to happen in the future related with the conservation of this wealth, 70% of the answers were related with financial issues, with market issues, even with political issues that could affect the transmission of this wealth to the next generation. This same study created a second question, asking what happened to those persons that could not make it to transmit this wealth to the next generation. What happened really related with the concerns that you had before. And more than 80% admit that the meaning of the real reason that couldn't make possible the transmission of this wealth was related with communication in the family and values of the next generations that were not compatible with the current generation. So one final thought related with this concept of wealth and legacy. There are questions that you can ask yourself about this reflection. Would you prefer to transfer your assets with a perfect way on the way that you state in your will? Or would you prefer to have a family committed, involved, and with the sense of purpose related with this wealth? Or maybe would you prefer to have an excellent planning for your financial assets to transfer them with an excellent tax improvement? Or would you prefer to have grateful children and grandchildren? Or would you prefer to protect your assets somehow, or that your children will be well connected, mature, and financial independent in a way that they understand what's the meaning of their life? So those are the reflections that are all related with the concept that you will acquire with your wealth and your legacy. And those are the questions that I would like you to ask yourself. Thank you very much for this opportunity to share these thoughts.